I, 18-year-old, and my sister, 16-year-old, have been arguing with our mum for days on end because she's getting herself checked into a mental hospital for the second time since last year. For context, my mum hasn't been going to work in over 3 years because she suffers from social anxiety and some physical problems because she's very overweight. My sister rarely ever goes to school, smokes Zaza all the time, sleeps all day. Meanwhile, I'm off to school every day and I work a part-time job. Every day I come home, the house is a mess. I don't mean just cluttered, I mean really messy. The dishes would pile up for 3 weeks, we'd have rats running around. This is relevant for the rest of the story. My mum can still function, she laughs often, goes out with friends, but she doesn't do anything at home. She makes food for herself, but not for her children. We never eat a meal together. Everybody just cooks for themselves at different times of the day. My sister and I clean our own dishes after eating, so we don't have dishes to clean later. This isn't a problem for me. This is where the problem comes in. Every time I have done an effort to clean the house, it gets filthy again in less than 3 days, so I just try to keep my room clean. Lately, my mum has been going out to friends very late, laying on the couch watching TV every day, smoking, and the house is worse than it has ever been. We have a rat infestation. The whole house smells and all the dishes have grown mold. I have exams, so I spend all my free time in my room and haven't paid much attention to all other things. My mum went to the doctor to get a prescription for her migraine pills, and she kept talking about getting admitted into a mental hospital so she can get a break. Last time she did this was last year. She left a 3-week-old pile of dishes for me and my sister to clean, and we were all alone at home. We took the opportunity to clean the entire house, and when she got back 3 weeks later, everything became filthy again. I am noticing a repeat of last year, and I can't stand the thought of having to clean up her messes again, just for it to become filthy again weeks later. I talked to her about this and she said, "I can't manage my household." To which I replied that she can't just go on a vacation every time she doesn't feel like having responsibilities. She replied that the mental hospital helped her last year until she returned home. I see how I might be the jerk in this situation. I feel for her and that it might be hard to have all these responsibilities, but I can't see how it's okay to leave your children to clean up all the messes when we're not the ones who made them. I think I'm starting to become resentful of my mother, and I really don't want that. Therefore, I'd appreciate an outsider's perspective. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your mother is honestly a selfish person for making you and your sister suffer like that. Any relatives you both can move to? Your sister is 16. Is she almost 17 or just turned 16, thinking about how long until she is 18 and can also get away? Comment 2. Not the idiot. I'm so sorry this is your life right now. You deserve a healthy, clean home and a loving, attentive parent. Do you and your sister have anywhere else to go? Anyone in your family that can support you or get you help? Comment 3. Not the idiot. Get out. I'd call CPS or anything because this is unacceptable and rather dangerous. Now for the update. 2 weeks have flown by since Mum dropped the bomb about the mental hospital. First off, I thought things couldn't get more chaotic, but the universe has a funny way of proving you wrong. The day after my last post, our landlord showed up unannounced for a surprise inspection. He was about as impressed with the state of the place as you'd expect. The rats really tipped him over the edge. He gave us an ultimatum: clean up or face eviction. It was like a slap in the face with a reality check. Now, with the threat of being homeless hanging over our heads, my sister did the last thing I expected. Maybe it was the threat of losing the house or something else, but she went into a cleaning frenzy. I kid you not. She even attended school for a full week straight, which practically deserves its own headline. As for Mum, the day after the inspection, her friend from church, Mrs. Henderson, came over for a visit. I overheard their conversation. Turns out Mrs. Henderson's son dealt with similar issues, and she convinced Mom that the mental hospital was her best shot at getting better for good. Her words struck a chord, and Mom decided to check in that very weekend. Right before she left, Mom broke down and apologized for everything. It was raw and emotional, and for once, we all just hugged it out. She admitted she was scared, but knew she needed to do this not just for her, but for us too. While Mum's been away, I've had to step up even more. Work, school, and now running the household. It's been exhausting, but guess what? The house has stayed clean. I've cooked some basic meals and my sister's been surprisingly helpful. We're both waiting for the other shoe to drop, but so far, so good. The plot twist came last Tuesday. I got a call from a distant relative who caught wind of our situation. Aunt Clara, who I barely knew, offered to come stay with us. She didn't put up with any nonsense and basically turned our home into boot camp. But it's working. She's taught us some life skills we desperately needed. The most jaw-dropping moment. My sister, out of nowhere, started talking about her future. She wants to get clean, maybe even pursue college. Hearing that was like a glimpse of sunlight in a long dark tunnel. Mum's due back in a few days and I'm nervous but hopeful. Things are a long way from perfect, but that looming eviction notice was the wake-up call we didn't know we needed. It's going to be a long road, but maybe, just maybe, we've started to turn a corner. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your family's been through a lot, and it sounds like Aunt Clara stepping in was a godsend. It's not easy to adjust to a stricter household, but she's helping you and your sister build a stable future. Plus, it's great to hear your sister is considering college. Change can be tough, but it seems like it's exactly what you all needed to get back on track. Comment 2. You're the idiot. While it's commendable that you're stepping up in your mother's absence, I can't help but feel for her. Mental illness is a serious issue and it seems like you're glossing over her struggles. The focus on keeping the house clean and getting your lives in order is great, but don't forget to support your mum emotionally as well. She needs compassion and understanding, not just a clean home waiting for her. Comment 3. Not the idiot at all. It takes a lot of maturity to handle the kind of stress you've been under. Your mum going to a mental hospital must have been really tough, but you're handling it with grace, and props to your sister for stepping up too. It's not every day you see someone so young taking responsibility like that. Keep it up and good luck with everything when your mum comes back. Now for the next story. I am 35 years old and my husband is 39. We have been together for 8 years. We have 2 children together, ages 11 and 8. For the past few years, we have been thinking hard about being foster parents. My husband grew up in the system and it caused him loads of trauma and PTSD, so we wanted to do something good for these children. We were living more than comfortably, and we wanted to make other children's holidays great and hopeful, to have an impact. I mentioned it to my parents about a week before placement, as well as some other relatives. We were placed with siblings, aged 12 and 10, 2 girls. They came a few days after Thanksgiving, and it is a situation where we hope to adopt them as well. My sister is hosting the Christmas party for the whole family, and messaged me about this with some complaints. She said that some people didn't want to buy gifts for these children and that they weren't considered part of the family. She also said that I picked the worst time to do this and that some people were worried about their behaviours. I basically said that as long as they were in my household, they would be considered family. And I picked the best time to do this because no child should be alone for Christmas. She got irritated and said that just because I made this choice doesn't mean everyone needs to, and she asked if the kids even deserved it. She also questioned if I had thought this through and how they would behave towards others at the party. My sister and her husband were at my home when I caught the 12-year-old stealing my husband's cigarettes, so now they are under the impression that they are bad children and therefore not deserving of privileges. I basically said that none of us would be attending. After that, she started spamming calls to my phone, and I answered one. We got into a heated argument where she told me I would be ruining the whole thing even though I am helping her cook most of the meals. I blocked her number for a couple of days. Am I the idiot? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Sounds like if you were to adopt some children, your sister would be like they aren't really family since you didn't birth them. Thank you for being a great foster parent. As an adoptee, we really need more families like you. Definitely not the jerk. Comment 2. Not the idiot. They are either part of your family or not. You sister was being far too pushy and demanding. I'd be ruining the whole thing. I'm helping her cook most of the meals. Sounds like she fricked around and found out. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Frankly, your family members sound pretty heartless, not to mention they sound cheap. I mean, how hard can it be to buy a few extra presents? Now for the update. After months of silence, my sister reached out to me. It took a lot of courage for her to admit that she'd been wrong, that her fear and ignorance had clouded her judgment about our foster kids. We met for coffee, just the 2 of us, and for the first time in what felt like forever, we simply talked. About life, about her fears, about how much we'd both missed each other. During our conversation, she asked about the kids, and I saw a genuine interest in her eyes. I told her how they've been blossoming. The eldest joined the school's drama club and found a passion for acting, while the youngest is on a little league team and just hit their first home run last weekend. Tears welled up in her eyes as she listened, and by the time I finished, she was openly crying, apologizing for how she'd acted. She wanted to make it right, and she did, in the most beautiful way. Last weekend, she organized a family reunion barbecue, inviting everyone who'd been at that infamous Christmas party. She explained to the family in advance how they had misunderstood the situation and asked for their support. It was like walking into a different world. Our foster kids were nervous at first, but they were met with open arms. My sister had even gotten them belated Christmas presents, saying no one should be left out of family moments, no matter when they join the family. She told them she was sorry for not being there when they needed family the most. The kids shone with happiness, and you could see them physically relax as the day went on. They played with their cousins, laughed, and for the first time since they've been with us, I saw them truly let their guard down. My husband and I exchanged looks of disbelief and joy throughout the day. The most touching moment was when our 12-year-old, in front of everyone, apologized for the cigarette incident. He didn't have to, but he wanted to. My sister hugged him and said, "We all make mistakes. What matters is we learn and grow from them." By the end of the day, our family felt whole again. It wasn't just about forgiveness. It was about learning, understanding, and truly embracing each other. And as if the universe wanted to put a cherry on top of an already perfect day, we received a call last week. The adoption papers are ready. Those 2 amazing kids are officially going to be ours. Our family's journey had its ups and downs, but moments like these remind us all why it's worth the struggles and the love we share. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot at all. Your sister made a huge effort to mend things, and it seems like she's genuinely sorry. It's not easy to admit when we're wrong, especially with family. You gave her a second chance, and now your foster kids have an aunt who cares. Kudos for fostering such a forgiving and inclusive environment. Families aren't just about blood, they're about who sticks by you. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Hear me out. It's great that your sister wants to make amends, but have you considered your foster kids' feelings? This might have been overwhelming for them. Family reunions can be intense, and it's a lot of new faces and dynamics for kids who've already been through so much. Maybe easing into these relationships would have been a better approach. Comment 3. Not the idiot. It's heartwarming to see a family come together like this. Organising a barbecue and giving presents shows your sister isn't just offering empty apologies. She's taking action to show she cares. And the kids apologising and getting to be officially part of the family. That's the cherry on top. It sounds like a day full of healing and love. Forgiveness is powerful, and it looks like your family is proof of that. Now for the next story. I, 27-year-old male, am married to my amazing wife Eva, 27-year-old female. We are unable to have children together naturally. Our fertility doctor has said our best chance at having biological children is IVF, and we are now working our butts off to make that happen for us. My family is aware of our struggles to conceive, and they know we have decided to pursue IVF. My sister Jane, 43-year-old female, has been vocally outspoken about her disgust at our decision. She told us that, ever being adopted, she should be thinking of adoption before any form of fertility treatment. She has ranted about how IVF is unethical and how we are going to frick our kids up for life. She has focused most of her ire on Eva, and I have stepped in each and every time and told her to knock it off and to keep her opinions to herself. She questions Eva every step of the way about rejecting adoption and how her family must feel to know she would rather have her own biological baby instead of adopting when they adopted her. Eva opened up to Jane, which is something I did not think she needed to, and I told Eva as much, but she wanted to. She told Jane that adoption is not always an ethical option, and while it can be such an amazing thing and bring so much joy to everyone, adoption is nowhere close to perfect. She also opened up about feeling on the outside her whole life because she looked like nobody, and her family would always pass comments about her siblings. Biological kids of her parents looked like family members, and comments were often made about twins, meaning lookalikes. How as the only kid who never got that, and the kid who was different, it weighs on you. She said her parents and siblings loved her as their own, and she loved them. But she also knew the extended family saw her as the adopted child, as the child that wasn't really theirs. She mentioned how both her birth parents rejected her when she reached out for contact, and how it all made her long for a genetic connection to the family she creates. She told Jane she can have that. It will just cost, but she could not in good conscience adopt when it would be her last choice. Jane called her names and told her she was disgusting and should be ashamed for viewing things this way. Eva was so upset after talking to Jane. Then Jane called me a few days later and told me I should talk to Eva about how she needs to fix her thinking. I hated hearing my sister say that about my wife, and I told Jane that she was the biggest hypocrite going because she only adopted her kids as a last resort after being told again and again that IUI and IVF would not work for her and that surrogacy wouldn't either. I told her we never judged her for how she started her family, but I did judge her for having gone through all that and being so hard on Eva. I told her it was disgusting and she should be doing better. Jane told me I had no business throwing her infertility in her face, and she told me to go frick myself. Am I the idiot? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. I'd stopped talking to Jane for a long time. She's incredibly disrespectful. She can go preach from her soapbox at an adoption parade and check herself at family functions. Comment 2. Not the idiot. This is none of your sister's business, and if she can't keep her opinion to herself, it might be time for some distance. Comment 3. Not the idiot. She needs to mind her own. Also, I thought your first sentence said you were married to the most amazing wife ever. Now for the update. I'm overjoyed to share that Eva and I are now proud parents to a beautiful set of twins, a boy and a girl, born just a few months ago. The IVF process was emotionally taxing and full of uncertainty, but holding our children in our arms has made every challenge worth it. Now onto the heart of the in the letter. She explained that seeing us struggle and witnessing our joy at the news of the successful pregnancy made her re-evaluate her stance. She also shared something we had never known before, that she had grappled with feelings of inadequacy and guilt over her own fertility issues, and that her negativity was a misplaced expression of her inner turmoil. It wasn't an easy road to forgiveness, but Eva and I both saw the sincerity in Jane's words and actions following her apology. Slowly we started to rebuild our relationship. Jane has since become an incredible aunt to our twins, and she's shown them nothing but love. But the most heartwarming moment came just after the twins were born. I'll never forget Jane holding them for the first time, tears streaming down her face as she whispered apologies and promises to be the best aunt she could be. It was a moment of pure emotional healing that cemented the new beginning for our family. Eva, who had been deeply hurt by Jane's previous attitude, embraced her, and in that embrace I saw the possibility of a lifetime of renewed sisterhood and support. I never imagined when I first posted that our story would take such a hopeful turn. It's been a journey of growth for all of us, and I'm grateful every day for the love that surrounds our new and expanding family. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's your life, your choice, and your happiness at the end of the day. Jane had no right to judge your decision to pursue IVF, and it's great that she came around, but that doesn't erase the initial hurt. I'm glad she's making amends and becoming a dotting aunt. Your family's acceptance and support mean everything, and it's beautiful that you're all moving forward together with love. Comment 2. You're the idiot for holding a grudge. Jane apologized for her initial reaction, which was probably out of concern for you. People are allowed to have opinions, and it sounds like she's genuinely trying to make up for it by being a loving aunt. You should have been more understanding of where she was coming from instead of creating tension. Comment 3. Not the idiot at all. Having children is a personal journey, and it's nobody's business how you choose to do it. The fact that Jane saw the error of her ways and stepped up as an aunt is commendable. Family is about growth and forgiveness. It's not just the twins who got a new beginning, but all of you as a family unit. Cheers to new starts and adorable babies. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.